Hello, this is Michael Treon from Insurance Agency Automation Associates with another quick video about some features of AMS360. Recently I had a question I saw and I answered it in email, and I said let me record a video about this. So we're going to talk a little bit about suspense, documents, and renewal list, but not how to run each one of them, but how we can share those items. I'll talk about the reason to do some in a moment. So there's two different ways to do it. One is at the user level, one's at the admin level. So the user level, you're going to come down here to Toolbox, and you're going to come down to User Settings and Tools and Out of Office Assistant. Now if you're not seeing these, then that means there's some security group settings that need to be adjusted for that person. And it's going to bring up your the out of office for that person. Okay? And you're going to say, I am currently out of the office. And then there's the three selection areas, but 4 selections. So I can say on my Doc360 options, I can say I'm active, meaning out of the office, activate the thing, and then select a person in the drop-down list of all users. Now that's for the front-end scanning my documents here, which not too many agencies use, unfortunately. Love to talk to you about why you should. But then there's Suspense. That's the one we're going to talk about. Okay. And then there's also renewal management options, select backup for renewal list. So this isn't the renewal list, this is renewal policies. What's the difference there? Not going to go too deep into this, but the list is the person that's responsible for the grouping, and the policies is the one responsible for the policy. So that's the one we're going to select. Now I'm not picking a profile here on purpose, but I want you to kind of see that in a minute. And then I would say OK. Now obviously if I say OK here, I'm going to get an out of office error message. Only reason I'm not selecting one is because I don't have access to that other profile. I only have access to this one here. So that's why I can only demonstrate how the settings go. That's for the user. They say OK. I'm going to hit cancel because I'm just showing that piece. Now on the admin side, now that user side means I'm either really going to be out of the office, want somebody on my team to see it, or maybe I am an assistant or I have an assistant. So rather than them having to go search for an activity, search for a document, search for a suspense, or go to the customer to find the renewal or the policy expiring, I can mark myself out of office and then they can see theirs. Now, they can see mine. Now likewise, if I'm working in a team environment, because I can only select one person, then the other person on that team, if they have suspense particularly or documents, would go mark themselves out of office and me as the backup person. So I want you to see the concept there. Okay. Now the other way to go about it is an admin point of view. Go to the Employee Center. I have myself open. So the other option, go to the Employee Center. I already have myself open here. So you'd search for the employee, go to Employee Overview, and then edit the employee. Again, security settings apply here. And then I go into the name and address field, the first field, and I see the out of office assistant here. This is how an admin person or somebody with admin rights to the Employee Center can set another person out of office. Maybe somebody called in sick today, came down with an illness, going to be out for a couple days maybe, that type of situation. Hit that out of office assistant, and it's the same dialog box. I'm not going to reselect those here. Then once you're done, hit save and close. I'm just going to close this. Okay. Then back over here in the views. In Suspense view, Suspense, I'm going to look at a couple things, but right here, include backup suspense items. That's what the key is. Include and backup suspense items. Select that and save and close. Now, I always have that selected for all my users I train. There's some other things I do here, but I'm not focusing on those. And then I would see this information here. Now, what I want to add, remember, grids you can edit. The way to know if you're seeing it in backup is 2 ways. The 2 will be somebody else's name, and the role will say backup. If you have those two views not blocked, those 2 columns not blocked. Now, when I do set up for people and train them, I tell them to turn one of the 2 off just to get real estate based, but that's what it does, okay? Secondarily, under my documents, I come over to my documents view, and I go to my view options again, and then we see here assigned to. Now, this depends on your settings that you can have everybody here, so when we're doing the My Document setup, not going to get into this too much today, you can have it where multiple team members can see it. The Out of Office feature for one-time things, and you'd say where I'm set up as backup. And again, the 2 columns where you're going to see that it's in the backup. Okay, I'm not going to save that because I'm just demonstrating. And then finally, my expiring policies. That's the one I selected. View options again, display downloaded, and include policies where I'm set as backup. That's what I always have on automatically, but if you don't, and the way to know is the assigned to will be somebody else's name. Just to be consistent, my renewal list, which is a higher level, same thing. Include renewal lists where I'm set as backup or CC. I always have those on, but those are the ones we're going to see. And in that case, down here you see the policy. The responsible person will be somebody other than yourself, normally. That's the key to it all. So that's the big use of that. Now I do want to point out something. Sometimes I use another similar tool, and it's just kind of along the same vein for suspense management. If I know somebody has a backlog of suspense, I can run a suspense report for that person for a certain period of time and see them. But at the same time, if I go to the employee view, which I still have open here, and I go to suspense view, if it's not shown, add it. Register. Suspense, I will see all suspense across the entire system for whatever date range I have in here. So if I have somebody that's got some backlog suspense and I'm assigning somebody else to help clean it up, or as a project to clean it up and get it caught up and close out or advance things, I do a thing called Suspense Amnesty, and we'll use that backup tool to see it. But if the person has admin rights, which they may or may not, I don't even do the backup tool. I just have them come over here. That's for suspense cleanup. And again, in the Employee Center, you'll see, depending on your settings, how many days out, you'll see all the suspense for that particular person. That's the key I want people to realize there. And that suspense amnesty, what I might do, whether I do it from here or the other one, or from my suspense inside of the home center, is I say, you know what, don't go crazy about these things, but let's take the list sorted by due date. So we're looking at the oldest ones, and the oldest, the first 5, I might assign to a certain number of days out from today, maybe 5. The next grouping, I would assign out to maybe 6 or 10 days, depending on what the volumes are. And then next grouping, back out another certain number of days. And the reason to do that, suspense amnesty and marking them in groups that way, is to get it cleaned up. Because one thing I don't like about suspense in the home center, let me get back over there, suspense in the home center, is the newest ones always come out on top. Or excuse me, always come out on the bottom. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. And so you never see them if you got a sea of red. Hopefully they're past due suspense are marked red, right over here. You never see them, the new stuff, and it becomes stale, and it just perpetuates the problem. So I would mark them not complete, just move them forward in groups. And suspense amnesty says, let's get this so we can see the new stuff and stop it from coming old, and then we work on the old stuff and clean them up, either as a project like I was mentioning, or as a suspense amnesty. We push them forward and then work them later on. So that's kind of the concepts of that. Hopefully that all makes sense. And again, I love the out of office feature. A lot of people forget about it. And again, you can set it on your own, or you can set it on an admin level for any employee that you have access to. That's it. Hope that makes sense to you. Have a great day. Hi there. Thank you for watching that video. Hope it was informative for you. Just a reminder, please go to my webpage, ins-automation.com, and check out the other resources there, including, if you're not a member of this newsletter already, where this originally came from, you can click on the newsletter, sign up there, and take you there. If you hit the contact over here, it'll allow you to send a message to me or book a consultation meeting, a complimentary consultation meeting. As well, you can go to YouTube and search for Insurance Agency Automation Associates. You'll see that little Rubik's Cube type thing. If you can, and you'll see my other videos here. There's about 20 or so of them here. I'll open that up a bit broader. There's a bunch of videos here about AMS360 features and tools. If you do come here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. And then once you hit subscribe, be sure to say notifications all. So that way, anytime I release a new video, you'll get a notification. Thank you again. Have a great day.